Good morning and welcome to the SHAC. It's Monday, the sun is shining, and I'm looking forward to spending a lovely, relaxing hour with you, um, setting out the week. Let's map out the week. Let's see what we're going to do. My name's Barbara Gray from Clarity here in the UK, and I've been really looking forward to this session with your good selves. So if you're in the building, come on in. I know that our friend Paul Church is also with you today. So have you got a cup of tea or a cup of coffee? It's going to get warm today, apparently, which is lovely. Not sweltering, but nice sunny days. Yes, indeed. Apparently, and I don't know if I mentioned it before, but Dave's sister, they're a farming family. And Dave's sister mentioned last week that she's down in Devon, and she said that the ash trees are really coming up. And I said, oh, that's interesting. And she said, well, the oak trees were coming up. That's what she said. The oak trees are coming up, and they're coming up early. And I said, really? She said, yes. Oak before ash, we're in for a splash. Ash before oak, we're in for a soak. And I thought, how interesting is that, right? Oak before ash. She said that the oak trees are coming in before the ash trees this year. So we're in for a splash, which means mild rainy season, mild summer, yeah? Ash before oak. So if the ash comes in early, then we're in for a soak, which means it's going to pour down like last year. And last year, she said the ash did come in sooner than the oak. Interesting, eh? Yeah. Got that. Nearly got it right. Let's get this. If you just say it, then it's obvious. Oak before ash, we're in for a splash. So if the oak comes in before the ash tree, we're in for a splash. Oak before ash, we're in for a splash. Ash before oak. So if the ash tree comes in before the oak tree, we're in for a soak. Ash before oak, we're in for a soak. Interesting. So oak before ash is what we're after. Oak before ash. See, farmers, they know this stuff, don't they? They know this stuff. Yeah. Why was I thinking about hedgehogs at the weekend? I can't even remember why. Oh, I know. The club stamp. It's a hedgehog, this spoiler alert. But that's okay. Tell all your friends. We need more people to join the club, the Clarity Club. Anyway, so next month is a stamp of really lovely, cute little hedgehog. And so I was writing the book the booklet to go with the hedgehog project. And so I looked up some fun facts about hedgehogs. And that was really interesting too. So in medieval times, folklore, old days, the hedgehog used to be their version of Groundhog Day now. Yeah. So isn't that interesting? The hedgehog was a wise, sage, magical creature that was able to predict the weather. Didn't know that, did we? So yeah, there you go. So looking forward to lots of different things. It's definitely all positive. Okay, stay positive, keep smiling. Yeah, and today's Monday, and we're set to do the W. We're on W today. So we've left our V for vase behind, and now we're moving through. For those of you who are wondering what on earth I'm talking about, we are working our way through the alphabet, one letter at a time. And we get together every Monday morning at 10 and every Thursday at 7 in the evening. Apologies for last Thursday. I really did not feel well. And so you have to listen to your body. And my body was saying, go to bed. And so it did. Apologies for that. But usually we meet on Mondays at 10 and Thursdays at 7 in the evening. And we call it the SHAC, Safe, Happy and Creative. And as most of you know, it started during lockdown and it's been going ever since. Nice, eh? Sounds interesting. I like a hedgehog. Yeah, a lot of us like hedgehogs, you know. They have, since 2001, they have reduced in number by 50% in the UK. 50%, half as many. And that's primarily down to the fact that we keep stealing their habitats and building. Yeah. Mind you, while we're letting our friends come in, yeah, I found a brilliant app on my phone yesterday because we were sitting in the garden and the birds. See, I think because we've got a bit of a woodland garden, you know, it's not a manicure. That's why we've got hedgehogs down the bottom, I'm sure of it. But we've also got a bit of it's a bit overgrown. It's lovely, don't get me wrong, but it's just a little bit, it's not manicured. I wouldn't call it manicured. And so as they've been building all around us at home, where are the birds going to go? You know, they keep knocking down the trees. So the birds, despite the fact that we've got 2 Bengal tigers called Ragnar and Eric, the birds are coming into our old yew trees and the old oaks, you know. And so we were sitting in the garden in the morning, not too much traffic, and it was like a cacophony. It was a song, bird song, really, really loud. And so I found an app, and it's called Merlin Bird. It's a good one. Merlin Bird. It's free, and you sign on, and it detects the bird song and tells you which birds you've got in your garden. And it was brilliant, you know, because we sat in the garden and I said, listen to this, you know, the blackbird we knew. But what's really great is it shows you, it lists like blackbird, then the wren came in, then the robin came in, then the chaffinch, and as they started coming in, all the different birds, as their song became louder, or, you know, like they don't all sing together, but so one started singing, then it highlights. So you learn really fast. This morning I opened the window and immediately I knew, that's the blue tit, that's the wren, that's the blackbird. It's really cool. So if you're into your birds, if you're a bit of a twitcher, the one that I you know, there are different ones that bombard you with ads. Dave found out the hard way. I went to Merlin Bird, it's called. Really excellent, really excellent. And when you go into settings, set it to UK, not because it comes in on default US, but UK, okay? And it's really excellent. Anyway, already got that app and it really is good. Thank you, isn't it? Yeah. So I'm educating myself now, because you sit in the garden, you hear the birds, but I don't know what a lot of them are. We've got loads of birds in the garden, all different ones. And I think it's because they've all been made homeless. They've been displaced out of the area around us. And so they've all come into this wooded garden that we've got. Aren't we lucky? Yeah. Aren't we lucky? We've got badgers and foxes that come through our garden. We do too. Yeah. Excellent, isn't it? We have magpies making nests. You know, we are so lucky, aren't we? Magpies. Yeah, we've got magpies in the garden too. Yeah, smashing. You know, one of the best things about the shack is we get together, we share our ideas, we share our gardens and our banter. You know, it's lovely. It's really lovely. I love it. I was unhappy when I missed it last Thursday, but hey ho. New week, new start, new letter. And we move on to W. Shall we get going? Okay. Paul says the sound is nice and clear. Excellent. Let's get going. I've had a really nice idea, because it's all about scene building and build a scene. And, you know, we've got, I'm launching this at the moment, the 1, 2, 3, the online workshop. It's going really well. Thank you so much for subscribing if you have. If you've enrolled for the online course, it's all really, it's getting better and better, I feel, with the landscaping and the building. And so this foundation course for 1, 2, 3 landscaping and stamping is a really good starting place. So if you are interested and you haven't signed up yet, let me just, a little bit of a Sally, I know, 60222, and that will get you to the online course. There's still plenty of time to sign up. We'll send you this little booklet, which is like it's for 3 days, three online afternoons, and it begins on the 7th of May, and it's 7th, 14th, and 21st. But I've been busy doing the pre-records so that they're there, ready for you if you can't join in the live sessions, and they're there as a complete product if somebody wants to attend that course or tick that box later on at another date and they can't make the live sessions, for example. So it's at the forefront of my mind because, of course, if I'm doing the live sessions but I'm pre-recording them, then it's good because it gives me a good time frame, tells me exactly what I'm doing, makes sure that I know where the teaching path is, you know. So it's good. Yeah, I hope that you can join in. It's it supports us greatly. So yeah, that starts in a couple of weeks' time. And I've been working on that kind of thing. Then this afternoon, of course, we've got amazing, again, scene building at its best with trees and leaves. I'll show you them later. Yeah, it's all about the countryside. And why wouldn't it be? You know, we live in a beautiful part of the world. And when the sun's shining, there's nothing like it. Got my booklet now. Well done, Lillian. Also, I was going to say, if you sign up, and because inside the booklet, there's a discount code, so that if you need anything, there's a place on the website where it's all listed what you need, and there's a 10% discount code. Well, what we'll do is if you join now, we'll send you the discount code in an email so that you don't have to wait for the booklet to turn up, you know, because now we're cutting it a bit fine, because we've only got a couple of weeks now. So that way we'll send you the discount code. You can have a look at the list, decide what you're missing, what you need, what you fancy, what you can't. You know, a lot of the stuff you can swap what you've got at home, but some stuff you might want to buy. And so that way we'll send you the discount code, and then we'll send you the booklet so that you don't have to wait for the booklet to get the discount code. Makes sense, you know it does. Right, cup of tea, and then we'll get started. The letter W, as always, we'll start with the letter, and then we'll go from there. I'm really keen to get going, though. Let's have a look what we're doing. Nice, nice, nice. Okay, let's do the letter W, which is really easy, I think, because it's like a V overlapped, isn't it? So, for example, we always go back to the A. There's a bit of tracing paper. We'll go back to the A. Last time, there we go. We've got the U, we've got the V. So to do the W, you can see it already, can't you? You're just going to take 2 V's and overlap them. These are my thoughts on it. What do you think? I think that would be lovely. We may make this one a little bit thinner and then flip it so the 2 in the middle are a bit thinner. Otherwise, it's a pretty wide one, isn't it? Should we do that? I think so. Who's going to join in with me? Or are you all chatting? We're starting to wrap our heads around the open days as well. And again, you know, lots of landscaping and building scenes. And yeah, it's interesting. It's lovely. You know, we're very lucky to be creative people. I do know that. I think it's not only fortuitous, it's not only positive that we're creatives. I think we have to use it. You know, if I don't go in my pottery studio, or if I don't make something, if I don't get with my hands, I don't know about you, I can only speak for myself, but I feel like anxiety creep up on me. And as soon as I'm working it out slowly, as soon as I actually start to do something, it's like it just leaves me. And I'm coming to the conclusion that it's because it's not only that I can make, I have to make. It's in my makeup. Not everybody's like that. everybody in this room will be like that. Everybody in the shack's like that. You know, and I think once we recognise that it's... Do you remember in lockdown when we were making, didn't it just calm us down? It wasn't just the getting together with like-minded people. It was the fact that we were doodling and we were, you know, there's that as well. I think don't underestimate that. Yeah. Now let's have a look. So I've got my piece of tracing paper and I've got my copy paper, and then I'm going to just slide my A in. I'll slide. Do you know, that's quite a good W as well. If I turn that around, that could make a good W too. Anyway, let's just keep going. So I've got my A in place. So that means I've got the height of the letter. That's what I'm after here. So I just need my ruler and a pencil. I mean, that is the thing with the SHAC, isn't it? We don't need much. Not really. I know I'm always selling you bits and pieces, but to join in the SHAC, what's really brilliant is, honestly, you watch in a minute when we start doodling, all you need is a pencil and a bit of paper. You don't need anything else to do what we're going to do in a minute. And of course, I'm going to say, well, it looks fantastic on mount board, and of course, you need to get the micron pen. Well, you don't actually. You know, you don't. I like it when you do, but you don't need to. I think the whole point of the SHAC is it's exclusive. It's not, it's inclusive. But you don't need, you know, you can't say, oh, well, I didn't have those paints, so I can't do it. You know, a lot of courses, unfortunately, you know, you have to spend a fortune before you can even start. So I'm just going to pop that line in there. That'll do. Right. So I've got my 3 lines, and now I'm going to get my V. So I'll pop my V in there, like so, because I think this will look really nice. If that V's there like that, and then we just shovel it along a little bit, and then the W, it's just an overlap, isn't it? And then we might thin these ones out in the middle. But should we give it a go? Come on. Let's just see. I'm keen to get started on the drawings, because I've spent the last fortnight thinking, what are we going to draw that starts with a W? So while we're doing this, because I know you're not doing the W with me, why don't you, between yourselves, make a whole long list of all the things that we may be drawing that begin with W? Go on, off you go. Ken, you all right? Plenty of dandelions and daisies. Yeah, we don't have grass, we have moss. Right, ready? Okay. V. This is irritating when you're a lefty. Right, V. Let's do a V, and then when we've done a V, we'll rub it out and do a W. Right, so let's just do this bit. Nice. I can always make this a bit thinner, but okay. So let's just do it, and then we can decide whether we need to make it thinner when we've done it, can't we? Okay, so that's one V. Yeah, so when we shuffle this one along, look, and then we add a W. I love. It's good, isn't it? Now, would you make the middle ones thinner? I don't know. Would you spread them out a little bit? I think that's pretty perfect. Let's do that. Hey? See, the more letters you got ready to go, the easier the alphabet becomes, really. There you go. So there's your W. We're going to make a lovely alphabet, aren't we, when we finish? W, X, Y, Z. Watering can. Love it. Actually, I've got to add that to my list. You'll see in a minute why. Let me just add watering can to my list. Oh, clever girl. Who did that? Who had the wurch? What's a wurch? Wurch? Which? Wurch. Watering can. Yes. Love that. Watering can. Nice. Wisteria. Oh, wheel. Now, wheel might work. Wisteria will work in my little mind's eye, as we say. Water. Witchery grub. Oh, no, what that is. Wheelbarrow. Nice. God, this is going to go on forever, the W. Weeping willow. Yeah, I've got something a little bit like water wheel. Wren I did have on my list. Yeah, willow I've got on my list. Welly boots. Oh, I say Wellington boots. Welly boots. All these things will work. I'm scribbling away here. Wedding. Yeah, I don't think you want to get married where we're where we're hanging out here. But yes, wedding would be good. Okay, right. W. Come on. What have we got here? Okay, so now we'll lose the V, and now we've just got the W, and then we need a rubber, an eraser. So what we'll do is we'll get rid of that bit there, and we'll get rid of that bit there, and we'll lose that bit there, like so. There you go. And we have a perfect W. Don't you think? I think that's a pretty cool W. Just like that. One wheel on my wagon. Waterfall. Wow. Nice. Okay, so there you go. That's the W sorted. And then we'll just do exactly the same in miniature. So we're back to the V. Come on then. Project completion. Project completion. So let's do this V. Come on. Going back to what we were saying about how creativity and making things is it is almost a necessity there. I listened to I think it was I don't know, a podcast or something, and the lady was saying that, you know, it's almost like if you don't harness your creativity within you, it kind of runs amok. I understand that. You know, I do. I totally understand that. If you don't actually use it, then she compared it to having a wild animal in your house. I get that. So that looks a bit weird. Let's just go in a bit. Let's go in a bit further on that one then. Let's see what happens if I come in a bit on this one. Thin it out a bit. So come into there. Let's see if we thin this one out a bit. And then we have to come in here a little bit. That'll be fine. That comes down to there, see? Yeah. Let's get rid of that bit there. Bit there. Yeah, that's it. You can see I'm impatient to get started on what I'm going to draw. Now, I wonder if anybody came up with the very first one that I'm going to draw. That looks quite good, doesn't it? And then possibly you'd thin out these bits because they're a bit thick, aren't they? These bits. But aren't we lucky that we can see that? You know, that one's there. Let's just come in here like that and just thin out that end. Okay. Easy. I've got a lot of gratitude going on today. You know, cup half full. That's what the surgeon, the consultant that spoke to Dave last week, he said, you and your wife are cup half full people, aren't you? And I thought, yeah, we are. Absolutely. Cup half full people. I like that. Are you a cup half full person? Or are you, well, you're not going to admit that you're a cup half, you're not going to admit that you're miserable and it's never enough, are you? Are you a cup half full kind of person? Weeds, wishing well, wrens, Wellingtons, windows, window bugs, wizard, wallaby, weeping willow, water wheel, watermelon, watch, wagtail. Love it. Wagtail. wagtail, womble. Fabulous. Womble. Right, so we've done our W, yeah? And we have enough, listen, we've got enough meat on the bone there now, on the W, to keep going till Christmas. So what we'll do is we'll build a scene. Like this was the idea that I had. I thought it'd be really nice. We'll build a scene because we like building a scene. But we'll do it in sections, okay? And what we need to do that is, well, we'll start on a 3.5 by 3.5, just little bits of card, okay? We'll do 3.5 by 3.5. Pick a card, any card, right? Right, we'll do that. So we need them. What I thought was that if they're particularly beautiful, I might transfer them to stamp board because they're this 3.5. Look, it's exactly the same size. I know. Who knew, right? So this is stencil card, and that is stamp board, which is like mount board, but it's beautiful for stamping on. Okay. So here's, for example, there's a picture that from Jane's lovely little scene that I found. And I stamped up. These are Jane Nesterenko, bless her. These are her stamps. Stamped onto a stamp board, the larger one. We're going to work with the middle one. Right, so for our mini makes as well, look, see, these are great. 31438 gets you 60 pieces, 20 of each size, and we're working on that one. But, so it's 3.5 by 3.5. But, like I said, all you need is a piece of paper and a pencil. So no excuse here. Now, but I just, down the road, yesterday, I framed a piece of artwork and put it in the kitchen. It looks really nice. I don't often frame art that I make and hang it on the wall. It's not something that I make a habit of, but it looks so nice now. And that's why I was thinking that these, I wouldn't put it behind glass, but because it stands proud, I think it would look really nice in a simple simple frame, you know, with no glass. And because we're going to do several of them, you could make a whole series. So what I was thinking was, so you could make 4 little frames. Look, if we're going to do it, and we could say, I mean, I know you don't even know what we're doing yet, but like you could go that way and do 4 like that, which would look really, really excellent on a wall, wouldn't they? 4 pictures, because the frame, it'd be about 6 by 6, so 6 by 6 each would be absolutely beautiful for a 3.5 inch like that. Bit of space around the outside, and you could change the mat at the back behind, you know, the frame. So this would sit on the mat, right? And you could just put a bit of beautiful companion paper, you know, behind, and it could match your decor, you know. Anyway, so that was the idea. I may do that. I'm getting confident now, but we're going to learn. And we're going to do the job on the 3.5 inch, just the card. And that way, all the time, it's just a bit of paper. That's all you've got to remember. It's just a bit of paper. Okay? So, let me show you what I've doodled, and then we'll start. Now, this is funny, because I started with a way marker. Let's come in a bit closer so that you can see what I'm doing. Let's just have a look. So I doodled a way marker, and I thought, it would be great because it could go to the SHAC. See? So I'm going W for way marker. And then I thought, right, where is it going to take us? For some reason, I had this way marker in my head. Washing line, brilliant. Add to list. Washing line, we could definitely add one of them. Oh, hey, who knew? Window, defo. Right, I'm writing it all on my little list here. Wishing well. Oh, yeah, stop now. That'll do. Okay, you can relax now. Your tea's getting cold. Oh, you're brilliant. Ah, my tea's getting cold. Okay, Waymarker. Did anybody say Waymarker? No. Or did you? What are the chances, eh? So we start with the Waymarker. And then I thought, right, so here's the SHAC. Right, so the SHAC. And then, so the SHAC, we can add the window. We've got a picket fence. We've got a white picket fence. Okay, for white. Wombat. Well, depends where you are, Debbie. Are you in Australia? Then wombat is perfect. Weather vane. I put a little weather vane on there. Right, weeds. So you could do a cottage, and then you'd have wisteria. Weather vane. That's what I've got. I didn't see anyone say Waymarker. Thank you, Paul. Right, so then we've got the SHAC. We've got our own little shack, because that's what I think of with the shack, right? And then I thought, right, but what about if we put a tree? Like, look, I know. So a wonky tree, a willow. Is it a willow? Well, it could be if you made it a little bit more like that. Just a bit more of that. A weeping willow? So I'm going to show, let's doodle that together, because I think it's time we learned how to do a tree. We all do trees. We all know how to do trees that are like that, right? But how do you do trees that where the trunk comes in behind the canopies, you know, like so I thought I had a little go at that, and I thought that'd be a nice thing to doodle, won't it? Yeah. So it's a tree with leaves or foliage, okay? So let's try that. So I did that, and then I got that, and then so now check it out. Let me pan out a little bit. So we've got this, so we're going for it here. So we've got the Waymarkers there now, right? It's up that, it's been relegated. It's further away. And then I was thinking, what would be really cool is we could have a winding path, worth a winding, too windy for my weather vane where I live. Wind chimes. Oh, wind chimes. So you could do all sorts of little, tiny little. So wouldn't it be fun to doodle together a set of little art? So this is mini makes, right? And then we'll put as many little tiny details, like a little wren sitting on the Waymarker, you know, or a wagtail, or a window in the shack, and then inside the window, on the window ledge, we could have something sitting that begins with a W. And we'll just try and cram, without making it ridiculous, as many little W things in there as we can. You know, it'd be fun. The weed is just a flower in the wrong place. One man's weed is another man's flower. I know. And that's why I have another app on my phone that tells me whether it's a weed or a flower. Because when I get let loose in the garden, it's dangerous. Okay, so what do you think? This would be quite nice to do, won't it? I think so too. My suggestion is that we start with the Waymarker, and all I'm going to use, right, we'll start with the Waymarker, get our eye in, then we'll go to then we'll work our way that way, and we can add stuff as we go. So I've got an HB pencil, and I've also got a harder pencil, 2H. I'm not going to use tracing paper. This is my tracing paper. So because if I don't like what I'm doing, I'll just put it to one side. Right, start again. Right, I need a rubber, an eraser. Just got one of them. I got a pencil one. Got that, that, and that. Right, and off we go. Jolly well go. And what we're going to do is kind of make them tessellate. Tessellate means join up, right? So if I took that one and put it there, if I needed to, see, that would sit on the window, I mean on the wall. I could put that next to it and then put the tree, look, see? So now I've put the tree there instead, and that will work too. Do you see what I mean? So, and when we do the winding road that goes up to the woods, the winding road that goes to the woods, we'll just make sure that we're on either side of the card, it always is interchangeable. Yeah? Look, I know. It's the little things that give me pleasure. Hey? I love it. Okay, so starting with the woof away marker. Hey? Jonathan Wass, eat your heart out. Right. Okay. Let's get some paper. Let's get some of these little bits of card. We do sell this. Just saying. This afternoon's going to be good as well. So I spent most of the weekend preparing for Monday. But it's all right, actually. You see, going back to what I was saying about that whole creative thing. You know, when things are, I need a wubber, not a rubber. I need wazer. You know, it goes back to that. If the head's wrong, then I can't sit in the garden, although I did for a little while. But if the head's all over the place, I'm better off getting with my hands. And because I've got a lot of work on at the moment, because I wasn't well last week, so it kind of built up, I made a list and I started ticking the boxes. And I find that helps my peace of mind, you know. I literally took a bit of paper and I wrote all the different things that needed doing, you know. And then I started even doing things that didn't need doing, like a blog. Doesn't need to be done, but I enjoyed it, you know. So I did a blog as well. What was it about? I can't remember, but I know I enjoyed doing it. Don't even know what it was about. I think it was about this afternoon's TV show. Yeah. Oh, yeah. About these fantastic bow wob papers and the trees, the elementaries. Oh, what a range. Beautiful. Right. So let's get going. We'll start with the way marker. But I think, right, the first thing you want to do, and I'll just leave those there so you get a kind of a rough idea. I'm going to pop that there because it allows for limitless expansion. That could go away to the woods, or it could go anywhere you want. You could go to Winchester Cathedral if you fancied it. Right, now let's have a look. What we'll do is we'll just put a line right through so that we know that they tessellate, and then that's going to be our starting place, isn't it? Now I won't use a ruler to draw the line, but I'll just use a ruler to hold it all in place while I'm drawing my baseline. Yeah, so it's just going to be, got to kind of think a bit small. So we'll go like that, we'll go like that, and then we're going to go away to the woods. Up we go. And we can always change it, but at least we know that that's about right. And if we did swap it around a bit, it's still it's not going to be far away. You could just move that up or move that down. You see? Right. That's that sorted. Just gives you something to hang your hat on, doesn't it? Now what am I using here? A 2H. Yeah, 2H. So we'll start with the way marker. Yeah? Start with the way marker. So we're going to pop a way marker in, and everything's a little bit woofa-wonky. Yeah, the shack's a bit woo-wah, a bit wonky, the tree's a bit wonky, everything's quirky. You don't realise, this is interesting, now we've focused on the W, what a wonderful addition to the language it is. Imagine if we didn't have W, you know. I live in Win Latin, windy fields, not too far away. Windy weather. Yeah. It's interesting, isn't it? You never think about the letter W. No, I don't. It's not something that kind of is at the forefront of my mind. But we'd be lost without it, wouldn't we? Think about that. Wee Willy Winky. Right. Let's do the way marker. And the other thing to bear in mind, right, when you look at this is they're small, keep it in proportion. So so what I'm saying is decide where the top of it is before you start. Because otherwise I could tell you now it will be taller. It just happens that way. So let's make a really simple way marker. And we're going to make it wonky. So it's an all freehand. Let's have a look. Coming a bit closer. Can you see that okay? Pop that one there so you can see it. So you can see I'm using a hard pencil, which is lighter, right? It's lighter. And then I can go in and use shade with my darker one, HB. The harder the pencil, so this is the thing, see, and I know we've gone through this before. The harder the pencil, the lighter the grey. The softer the pencil, see if I've got any soft ones in here. We used to sell these, but they're too expensive now for us to buy in. B, see, the Bs, they are blacker. So the softer the pencil, the higher the letter. So 5B for black, 6B for black, even softer, 7B for black, really, really soft and black. So if I go to the extreme now, I'm going to go to 7B just to show you, because I know there are always people joining us. Let's have a look. Let's take a bit of... So this is an H, 2H, right? That's 2H. This is 7B. See the difference? Look, it's really soft. Really soft. Smears. See? Graphite. So we won't go to the 7 or 8B. We'll stick with the 2H and the HB. So HB is bog standard, really. That's it. That's about the sum of my... as much as I know. Okay, SHAC. So we'll pop a... Let's just get the shape in so we know what we want to do. Right, so that's going to be our way marker going that direction. And then we'll have another one. Just keep it out away from the edge. There you go, that'll do. Like so. We'll have another one going in that direction. Yeah? It's handmade, this. There, like that. See, if you wanted to, but it's a bit too complicated for Monday morning, you could make one coming in this direction. But I'm not into 3D. We're not going 3D. We're not going to start. Yeah, let's just do one way to two routes. That way or that way. Okay. There you go. Right, so now we've done that. So we get a little bit of a wonk on there. What I want to do, right, there we go, double lines now. Got a bit of a, let me put my other glasses on. I can't find me Dame Edna's, but I've got these magnifiers. It's time to go to the opticians. Right, so we'll just put a little bit of a... See, the thing about the hard pencil is you can get really good double lines. What we're trying to do is make this sketchy. It's not a perfect line. It's not this kind of line. It's sketchy. We're doing sketchy, okay? So now, for example, there's going to be shadow down that side, isn't there? So now you might want to swap out for a darker pencil. Is this okay? Yeah? See, and then as soon as you put a little bit of depth in there, you see that. There you go. Just add a bit of, and don't worry about it being sketchy. It's supposed to be sketchy. The whole idea is that this the whole thing is going to end up quite sketchy, you see? So then we're going to draw, well, we'll leave the writing until the end. And then you can keep adding as you go. But because we're just doing, that's another thing about safe art. Let's call it safe. Safe, happy and creative, right? Safe art. If I said to you, right, we're going to draw a scene, we're going to build a scene, and it's about 12 inches long. We're going to go with an A4 piece of white blank paper, and we're going to start with a way marker in the middle, and then we're going to do a little shack, then we're going to do a white picket fence, then a wren, then we're going to take a winding path to the woods, right? And suddenly you're like, well, what happens if my shack's rubbish? What happens if I don't like my way marker and the wren looks like an ostrich perched on the way, you know? And so that's why we're building little, it's all stems back to the mini makes again, just like our mini make that we hit 1,000 friends now in the Clarity Stamp or the Clarity Crafts mini makes and ATCs, that Facebook group. Yeah, over 1,000 people. And this is that kind of, that mindset that we're just using a little bite-sized piece of artwork. The crazier the world is getting, the more important this is becoming. We still have to make something. Remember, we're makers, we're creatives. If we don't, like a wild animal let loose in our heads. Washing machine, woof, a washing machine. So, but rather than inflict more pressure and more stress, and we've got to get it right, and if it's not perfect, it's rubbish, and la la la. Forget all that, right? We've done 5 years of this. We know better than that now, right? So if we do little 3.5 by 3.5 inch boxes, right? If I don't like my way marker, well, guess what? You can buy 100 of these for pennies, right? So then you just say, right, well, that way marker was rubbish. So we'll get rid of the way marker, we'll do another one. I particularly like my tweet. So I'll hang on to my tree. See? So what you're doing is you're making, it's like incremental, bite-sized pieces. You just make sure that they kind of join at the right place. Just do that every time. And there's no pressure. You can literally just enjoy the process, you know? And you could make, this is the exciting thing, you could make a whole book of these with our list. Look, I've got my list. Washing line, windows, way markers, white picket fence, wheelbarrow, watering can, wheel, wisteria, welly boots, wishing well, wagtail, weeds, willow tree, wren, winding path, weather vane, that's spelt wrong, weather vane, wonky tree. See? And you could make a whole book of W's. Wouldn't that, I think this is going to be actually, this could be the start of something really big, but it starts in tiny little steps. And that's why we're doing the little 3.5 by 3.5. And if we want to go for it and put it on the wall, we are using our stamp board, which you also get 20 pieces of. So if you don't like that bit, you swap it out. You're not working on a canvas. I am not that artist. I like little, I think that's why we're card makers, aren't we? I'm not about to paint a mural. I know it's mural. I'm not about to paint a mural, you know, and hats off to those that can. It is not I. Okay, so that's my theory and I'm sticking to it. Okay, so we've done the way marker, woof a way marker. There's a wen going on there, a little wren or a wagtail. But let's just stick with the, we can add. So we've got that. Now, what about a few weeds? So weeds are good. What am I on here? 2H. Right, weeds. And you know, the other thing is, if you still feel that you want to practice before you go to this bit, then check your weeds out before you go to them. So I'm going to show you, I'm going to make a weed like that. And then I'm going to make dots on them, or like little dashes up the top, back down the bottom. There you go. Let's make another one. Dots, 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 dash, dot, dash, dot. Right, these are my weeds. Flick, and then put something up the, like that. dot. And you'll find you make a few grasses like that, do some with heads, and before you know it, you've got my garden. There you go, look, easy. Yeah? It's sketchy. It's meant to be sketchy. So let's make some weeds. Right, dash, and then a couple of little dots. Another dash in front of the, like that. Let's do a few. Right, dots, dots, dashes. You know exactly what weeds these are as well. I bet you've got them in your garden too. There you go. Would you have one of them manicured lawns? Well, we're out in the countryside here, friends. Dave and I went for our first walk. Let's get this. I'm going to put this way marker down in front of the line like that. There you go. That's better. We went for our first walk on the Ashdown Forest, up on the forest on Saturday, Dave and I, since he's had his knee operation. He did so well. He did so well. I mean, he paid for it yesterday, but that was another box ticked because we haven't been for a walk for months. Not months. And I don't like walking on my own. And I haven't got a dog, and the cats won't come with me. You know, so we went from a couple that walk all the time. Right, a little bit of grass. Should we do a bit of grass? Grass is easy. Look. So just, if that's the line there, all you do is just go up and down like if you were in hospital and you've had a heartbeat and it was a little bit erratic. Okay, that's your grass. Up. Oh, hang on, have a little bit of a wobble. That'll do. Couple of little sketches. Listen. Perfect. Love it, love it, love it. Right. And then we're going to write where we're going on there as well. And then we could put a little bird on there. But we can practice our birds, can't we? Right. So what are we going to write? SHAC? I want to go to the SHAC. Just like that. This is my... There you go. S H A C. And what we're going to do is we're going to learn, right, to get over our fear of getting it wrong. And we're doing it with a pencil now, but what will be really nice is then we'll take our micron pen, our 005 and our 01, and we'll go back over. And it's like these are our struts, our supports, our scaffolding, right? We're doing it all with pencil, and everything that you do with pencil, you can erase. So that's a confidence builder. Thing is, we've been drawing together for about 5 years now, so I think that we will be fine, okay? But let's get a few of these little sections done first. Now, let me see, it's 10:02. Have we got time for the tree? We've only done the way marker. I told you we'd be here till Christmas. Okay, I'll show you the tree. Let's do the tree. And then on Thursday evening, we'll do the SHAC. Okay? We'll crack on with the SHAC. But let's do the tree. Let's start with the tree, and then you can have a practice. Like, if you fancy, let's have a look. So if we're going to do the tree, okay, what's the time? It's already 7 minutes to. What's the time? 7 minutes to. The tree's going to take longer than 7 minutes. I can't believe all we did was the way marker. Okay, let's try the tree. Okay, we'll give it a go. Right, so there's that bit, and we'll get a start on the tree. So it's wonky for starters, right? So you can see here the angle is like that. Okay, so let's go from here. Right, let's decide how tall it wants to be. Remember I said otherwise you'll go too high. So put yourself a limit there. What we could do is we could go again. So let's put the tree, right, really wonky tree, and then it goes that way. And then this one. This is the one that it's leant over, you see. So it's come up like that, and we'll go like that, but we'll keep on with that one and go that way a bit. So now let's get some big branches going. So that's the start of it there, right? That's the start of your tree, that bit there. And then we can always sort the rest out afterwards. So you've got this Y, right? And we can honestly, don't worry about, you just need to get the basic shape in. Now I'm going to show you, I worked ahead just to show you the basics before you carry on, because otherwise you can't really, from there, you wouldn't know where to begin, right? Let's look at this. This now is this bit here. So I'm going to knock that bit out there, and I'm going to put another little branch going that way, right? Because they're going to prop up all these canopies now. But have a look at this one. So this is one piece. Let's deconstruct it. So let's put your pencil up perpendicular. In other words, straight up. So not at an angle, but like that, right? And then what you're going to do is just wiggle your way across. You don't realize how much you use the word until you start focusing on it, do you? Right, ready? So we'll wiggle, and we're going to go from here, and we're going to just touch on these. So up we go, like that, and then we go back around there, and then we'll come back down there. So you've started your first canopy, if you like, right? So what we need to do now is do the top part of that. So don't overthink that. Just look at this, right? And then go, because every one you ever do will be different. So this is the top part. You can make it in 2 bits. You can come round like that. Right, so now that's the top. That's this bit here, right? So now what we're going to show a little bit of branch or trunk here, look. So we'll take that one there, and that one has gone, we've got 2 going there now. So let's make it a bit bigger. So there's that one as well. And then we've got another one there, just so that there's something between. They are, look, it doesn't even have to be logical, but you've got to have some sort of, and then we'll do the next one. So let's do a couple of different ones here. So that's that, right? Now we'll do another canopy there. See, once you break it down, it's not that hard. Let's do another one here. So you keep going, right? And then bring the top round like that. You see? Right, now we're going to put another branch in. Let's put another branch in. They can come from every angle, but they just need to be there. And it's easier to put them in now. Right, let's put another one in. Right, wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Over the top. There we are. And then we'll go again. It's almost like you're putting clouds in. Look, put another one in. Now just put these bits in. Just put the wiggle bit in. There you are, look. Let's do another one there like that. Put another one in like that. Then just join them up like that. There you go. And that's how you make trees that have got branches. There. That wasn't difficult, was it? Look. See? And once you've got that, then you can start to add the shade, because what you're doing now is you're going to concentrate on what's underneath here. So let me show you, and then we could go back to this on Thursday. See, so if this is the bottom part, what we're going to do now is let's just do like tiny little lines as if it was tassels. Let's just do tassels all the way along like that. Honestly, tiny little sketchy tassels like that. Okay. All the way down. See? And then when you've done that, then we'll go again, but this time we'll cross hatch. So in other words, we're going that way. Now let's go this way, all the way along there again. Right, so now it's going to get darker underneath the canopy, see? Because we're cutting across, but it's sketchy. It's not smooth. See, just you go zigzag, crossing like that. See? And then you add a bit of shade Right, and then you can, what one have I got here? 2H. There you go. And you can make really long bits as well, like willowy, wispy bits, because that's what trees do. They do. See, so now you've got that, and then you're going to do the same thing in this area here, and you can see how you're building it up. It's something to practice, right? But I think that you'll enjoy doing it. Look, and you get such a nice effect when it's done. Okay, so then you've got you. So on Thursday when we get together, I want to work on that. Right, we're going to we'll work with the tree again. We'll start again. You'll have had a few days to practice, get your canopies. It's not hard if you just follow that process. You just need to follow that process, right? And then on Thursday, we'll have another go at the tree together, and then we'll go to the shack, and we'll just keep adding woof or something, W something, right? Now, let's put this to one side, and I'm just going to tell you a little bit. That's my list of all the different W things. Let me tell you a little bit about what's coming up this afternoon and where I'm going in my head. So one of the first things that right, this is not what we're doing this afternoon, but I want to show it to you, right? Because Dave said, "Core, when did you do that?" I said, "We did it in the shack." But because we move at such a pace and life just flashes through, sometimes we forget what we've done too, don't we? So let's just take a look. Do you remember when we did this? Do you remember when we did that scene and we drew the leaf? Look. I mean, we did this, right? We drew the scene, and then off the back of that, just so that you remember, there were 6 masks, because this is all about masks. You know, we're doing build a scene masks. We're doing landscapes within leafy scenes. So I really wanted to kind of go backwards so that you see what brilliant stuff we've done in the past as well, because this was really right? And what's available now, if you really like this kind of thing, take a look at that. When you look at the shack in there, for example, and all the grasses, they were also in our build a scene masks. So off the back of this, we've got the shapes. So you've got the aperture shapes, and then we've also got the masks. You see, you've got hills, you've got mountains, you've got straight lines, you've got at the sea, you've got Tuscany, you've got trees and meadows, build a scene. You've got the clouds. If you wondered where the clouds come from, the miniature clouds, there they are. Okay, really important to know. Hedges, you know, really quite something. So I want to flag these 2 things up. First of all, the landscaping masks, build a scene, 31358. Then I also want to flag up the aperture leaves, 31357. Okay, and I'm sure that Paul will be able to tell you where we did that together if you're interested. Right, so that's the first thing I wanted to flag up today. Next thing I wanted to flag up, I told you about the online courses, fantastic. Right, next thing. Okay, this afternoon, for your pleasure, right, check these out. So this is pretty spectacular. Jazz is on holiday this week, so in her absence, I have the pleasure of launching these leafy sets of stamps. So we released them yesterday for the early birds. Check these out. These are absolutely glorious. Let's have a look at them printed out so you can see them. Right, so they're real printy. They're really like real life. Very, very, very good. Okay. And then you can see here, these are the numbers if you want to take. I hope that you join me at 2 o'clock, and then we'll be putting these through their paces. You can see why I got caught up in the, well, I really did get caught up in making and playing with these because they're so beautiful. And then also, so the bundle is 21240. And the bundle includes our new leafy bow wallpapers, which are pretty spectacular. I look forward to showing you them. These are designed by Jazz as well. Really superb. Background papers. Then we've got those as well. So that's the bundle, 5 sets of stamps and the papers, 21240. All available individually, but you save quite a bit of money if you go for the bundle, and they work so nicely together. And you can understand why I'm kind of pushing on the masks, on the shape masks. It all works really well together. So if you've got those, these work. If you've got these, those work, you know. Then also, just so you know, Janice, our friend Janice Phillips, so she's making she's doing her debut at 1 o'clock on Hobby Maker today. Bless her. Yeah, she's not a presenter today. She's a demonstrator. She's the artist. And then at 2 o'clock, we will be launching her new stamps, right? So we helped her make 3 new sets, which are quite cool. These ones are the little ones in reverse for the ones that if you've already got them. Then we've got the people walking, which is rather brilliant. And then we've got Millie, the dog, which is so beautiful. Okay, so Millie the dog. We've got them, got Millie. Very, 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 very arty. So we're going to they'll be available on our website as well at 2 o'clock, but she's going to be going for it between 1 o'clock and 2 o'clock, and then Paul and I will kick in at 2. So that's something to look forward to as well. We wish her all the very, very best on Hobby Maker. It's something quite new for her, you know, and she's one of the best presenters in the business. So for her to change to the other side of the table is quite formidable, really. Hats off to her. I'm very privileged to call her my friend. Now, the other thing I want to tell you is tomorrow at 10 o'clock and 2 o'clock, it's all about groovy. Thursday, we're in the shack, carrying on with our drawing. We're here to keep you company. And then on Friday at 10 o'clock and 2 o'clock, Louise and Paul will be keeping you company. And it was it's a fantastic new play, all about sentiments, groovy, really good. You'll like that. Very, very useful. And then on Sunday, I'm launching a brand new 3 new dies, landscape dies. I think you'll be impressed. And they come with a fabulous couple of sets of stamps as well. And it's all about scene building, picture building, landscapes, hills and dales. So that's it. That's all I wanted to tell you. Paul, thank you so much for helping. I don't think I've forgotten anything. Thanks for keeping me company. It's a great start to the week, and we'll be back at 2 o'clock this afternoon. See you then. And if you're not there because you're sunbathing, that's okay. You can catch us on